Welcome to Marriage Matters.
Welcome back to Marriage Matters. We're talking about reconnecting with your spouse and the difficulties of trying to reconnect. And one of the main difficulties that we talked about was figuring out or finding out the root cause of the disconnect to begin with. Now, normally you're being triggered, which caused something had been triggered, which caused the disconnect in the first place. Usually, the disconnect caused the spouses to be on the defensive. One or the other or both become defensive. So every conversation is a conflict, an issue, from the smallest things to who's taking the kids to school this morning, or
from you put the toilet paper in where it comes rolling down from the top and not the bottom.
From leaving a toilet seat up, from just driving in the car with one another. You
didn't go this way? Why you didn't turn here? Why you didn't turn there?
But it can be a vacation. It could be something exciting or happy or pleasurable that you guys are about to do or on the way to. You could be on the way to an anniversary party or something, and conflict rears its ugly head.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to church, conflict can rear its ugly head. I can remember the times.
The kickoff.
It can be, we're going to visit to the barbecue. I mean, whatever.
And all out of nowhere, bam!
Them defenses.
What? What you say? Who you talking to? Why you talking to me like that? You ain't my daddy. You ain't my mama. And so on, I flow because I go on.
And I know so many marriages can identify and agree with this. Like we talked about change, whether it be a positive change or a negative change, and how it can still have an impact on your relationship.
A negative impact.
Similarly, it's the same thing with this being defensive. Once something has triggered, our defense mechanism kicks in, and now we can be on the defensive for years and years and years and not realize that this was triggered just by, we was on our way to the family reunion and you said something that made me feel less than or inadequate, and that triggered the kid in me, the 5-year-old or the 8-year-old or the preteen in me. And ever since then, my defense mechanism has been up. So anything you say, I'm taking it as a knock or as a slight or as a criticism or as a critique or as a put down.
And we have to learn the root cause of it. A lot of times we don't understand some of this stuff can stem from childhood, where someone said something to you or whatever the case may be, or ridiculed you or called you stupid or whatever the case may be. Now, anytime something rises up to that effect, next to you, out of nowhere, you wonder what you calling me stupid? You understand? A lot of times it has very little to do with you, but the root cause of it is embedded in them because they were possibly told that when they were little.
And what happened when you felt that way? Your defense mechanism kicked in. So now, hurting people hurt people. We know the saying. So if you slighted me, or if I feel like you put me down or you getting on me, now I'm hurting. My defense mechanism is up. But meanwhile, I'm going to step on you and I'm going to tear you down.
Revenge.
And it could be, once again, intentional or unintentional. Because we, in our conscious and in our subconscious, we're in and out the conscious and the subconscious. And in our subconscious, just like the nonverbal communication, we communicate things sometimes unknowingly or unintentionally. So if my defense mechanism is up and you say something and I'm trying not to...
It's like reflexes.
Yeah.
So you know it's going to come back, bam, and you can have a problem from that.
Yeah. So this can be what we're talking about can be the reason for the root cause of that disconnect or that issue can be stemming from something as simple because it's the small things a lot of times
that causes issues.
Because those small things are always being magnified. Negative, small, minute things are always being magnified in the relationship. Positive things are always being minimized in the relationship.
And we have to choose to magnify the small things. Despise not the day of small beginnings. But another thing, or where it can come from also, is not taking your spouse feelings as valid. If they're saying, it could be a small thing to you, but if they're saying that this irks them, then you got to come to a realization and say, okay, they don't like this, so then I need to pull back from doing that. Like she gave the illustration early on in one of our sessions about me smacking on the butt. So she didn't like that. So if it was a turnoff, then I could have one or two things. It's a turnoff to her. And so then I'm constantly smacking on the butt. Then I'm wondering why she ain't passionate towards me or whatever the case may be. So I'm fighting against my own cause. So then I need to make the switch and be like, okay, then don't say, just a little pat.
Right. So we have to get some understanding. We have to get some wisdom. We have to get some knowledge, and we have to get our emotions in check. These are very important things in order to reconnect. Because if you don't put those emotions in check, that defense mechanism is not coming down.
No.
Because go ahead.
It's gonna be like, you know, you on an aircraft carrier with the missiles and planes and everything ready to go. It's gonna be a standoff, you know, which is not gonna help your marriage flourish.
Yes, you need, like I talked about the demo mode of the marriage or relationship early on. That mechanism, that defense mechanism has to be demoed. It has to come down. But you can't demo it.
What you don't understand or know.
And you can't do it properly. So just think about if you had to demo a porch or a garage. Ooh. And you don't know what you're doing, but you figure, I can figure it out. I can do it. I can test stuff up.
Disaster waiting to happen.
Okay? If you demo that porch or that garage incorrectly, you can kill yourself and those around you and connected to you. Mm-hmm. You have to be careful. You have to be careful. You have to get wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and put those emotions in check. Because your emotions will send you off.
Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Yes, your emotions will send you off and kill something, destroy, steal, kill, and destroy your relationship if you're led by your emotions.
True.
We have to understand that. Those defense mechanisms, the low self-esteem, the silent treatment, or the yelling and screaming.
The tantrum.
Yeah.
Going to tantrum.
It's not healthy, mature way of dealing with conflicts and issues. So if you want to reconnect, if you want to get an understanding, and if you want to work on your marriage, you have to do the work. It's more than just me and you coming together. Honey, we need to talk.
And that could be dangerous if you don't go into the communication right.
Right.
You can further damage. You know, just like she was saying, you may just need, if you're dealing with a porch or garage, you just may need to change a few pieces of wood. But if you go in the wrong way and you touch the wrong piece of wood that holds everything together, it's even worse. You'd have made more damage or created a bigger problem than you had at first because you came in the wrong way.
You went about it the wrong way. We got to try to come correct. But you can't come correct if you don't know how.
This is true.
You can't fix it if you don't know how. Then we reach out for help sometimes the people that do try to reach out for help, then you want to kind of be secret squirrel, or you want to beat around the bush, or you want to be
still pretend that your marriage is perfect and you know that you're going through. Everybody goes through. It's so it's nothing to be ashamed about that you're going through something. Especially when you're dealing with people that understand that. Now, if you're talking to some fools, for like a better word or term, then you don't want them possibly to know, because they ain't gonna do anything but spread it or whatever and make it worse. But if you're dealing with people that's logical or that's reasonable, that has that wisdom, that everybody goes through this stuff. One thing that a lot of people start to realize when they come to the classes when we have them is that, wait a minute, I'm not the only one. My spouse isn't broke. This, what I'm going through, is normal, And so when people find out that it's normal, then I think it gives them a level of relief, and then you can begin to deal with the issues that's at hand, just knowing that, hey, this is a regular problem that everybody goes through. The toilet seat being up, the toilet paper being put, the roll being put in the wrong way,
the top off the toothpaste,
or whatever the case, the refrigerator being left open, while you're getting something out of it, or whatever the case may be, and the spouse come close it, or why you don't close it, or the spouse come and cut the light off after you just cut it on. So these are simple things that a lot of people go through, and so on and so on, and it's normal.
Because we're opposites. So if you leave it open, I'ma close it. If I close it, you open it. Like, we're opposites.
Yeah.
That's when you say it is what it is. That's what it is. You're opposites. You don't think alike. You don't respond alike. You don't deal emotionally the same. So you have to get that understood.
And one way is not necessarily better than the other. What it is just a preference. It's just a preference of the way you like doing things. So I cannot condemn my wife because, hey, I like the toilet paper going this way, but she liked the toilet paper going another way. That may work for her. And especially, this is the thing, like she said, I shouldn't have to ask. You got a preference which you never even expressed with your spouse, like, hey, can we do this? If you have a healthy conversation, they may come over to your logic or your way of thinking and say, you know what, that makes sense. I think I might like it better too. Some people are more detail oriented, and so some are just like, okay, whatever. So it doesn't mean that they're the bad guy or the bad woman or whatever the case may be because they think different than you.
It just means that we're opposites. I can't say that enough. You think one way, I think another. You think left, I think right. Like, it's just the makeup of the male-female individual.
Dance. Did you like to always say dance?
Right. So understand and know that it can be fixed. Things in your marriage, like I said, it's not a problem unless you make it a problem. So the toilet tissue being put one way or the other should not be a problem unless you make it a problem.
It shouldn't be a divorce sentence.
Right. It shouldn't be your defense mechanism go up. Because I told them, don't put it that way. Don't do it that way. It worked better this way. I don't know why because they don't think like you.
Facts.
They don't do it like you do. You might be better at it. You might be a 5-star restaurant caliber chef. And your spouse may be a non-cooking, barely boiling water person. So they can't do what you do in the kitchen. So don't expect when you ask them to cook or do it, don't expect it's going to be done the way you do it or as good as you can do it. It's like laundry. I mean, spouses have problems with the way the spouse folds the clothes,
or not to fold the clothes,
or don't fold them at all. Like, it can be, all of that can be an issue if you make it an issue.
Yes.
So don't wash my clothes because you wash your clothes all together, colors, white, this, that. I like mine separated, lights, whites, darks. Like, that don't have to be a reason for a disconnect. That don't have to be a reason for an argument. Like, those are things that as adults we should be able to talk about and deal with and not necessarily end up with our defense mechanism up and our marriages struggling because of it. That's our time. Until next time.